Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the 5 hiring mistakes that most businesses are making that's really affecting their bottom line. Now, I've done a few of these videos, but this one is going to be important because we're going to focus a little bit differently than previous ones. So if you haven't checked those videos out, please make sure you do. If you're new here, my name is Taylor Darcy from Think Legal, where I help you create the business of your dreams. So welcome. I'm happy to have you. We go live Monday through Friday, except for holidays and the occasional I can't get here sick, whatever. Also, starting August 2nd and 3rd, I will not be going live because I'm moving offices. And so I need to move and get set up and all that other stuff. So I will not be going live during those times periods, but you are welcome to watch some of my other videos on YouTube that are readily available for you. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And if you want to get notified, okay, that was funny. I don't know why I did that. Anyway, if you want to be notified of when I go live, don't forget to hit the subscribe button on YouTube with that bell icon. I told you, every day I check and recheck this stuff, and for some reason, little gremlins get into my setup and go, wee, we're going to mess with Taylor today. My kids watch a show called Fixies, and I certainly wish they would come and fix these problems that keep popping. Like, I'm not kidding you. I will fix something, and then, like, the next live, something else will be broke. I mean, I get the appeal of doing videos because you can edit stuff, and you don't have to worry about technical issues as much because you can just pause or stop and then edit out things. But I like live video. It's more fun. It's more interactive. I get to do more with it. I can do fun things like this. Hold on. Let's try that. Why are my fireworks not working? There they go. Told ya. I can do fireworks that make sense when it's exciting and on video. I can't do that if I'm on a video. It just doesn't make nearly as much sense. And same thing goes with money falling from the sky, which, you know, we could all use some more of that, right? So anyway, point is that with that comes technical issues, unfortunately, that just, it kind of, you know, it's par for the course. I don't think I've had one yet. I take that back. I've had a few where they haven't had a technical issue, but I digress. Anyway, so if you're new and don't forget to hit subscribe so that you can be notified of when I go live and when I post other videos, because I don't always go live. I also post my podcast videos on here, which, by the way, my podcast is Tactical Startup. And we try to publish weekly on that one. That's been a bit more of a challenge because of how often I go live to get that done. But it is available for you. I think I have 17, 18 episodes, something like that. I'm working on doing more, but as time permits. So if you have legal questions that you need offline, feel free to reach out to me at thinklegalpc.com and or leave comments below. I'm happy to answer. So let's go ahead and get started. All right. So first of all, let me say thank you for tuning in, because I think of it as not only an opportunity to serve you, but also an opportunity that you're taking time out of your day to spend watching my video, for good or for bad. I'm not a perfect person, and I try my hardest, and I try to make things as well as possible. But I just wanted to say thank you for tuning in and watching this video or any of the other of my videos. If you have anything specific that you would like to have a video made on that you have questions about that I haven't answered so far, please reach out to me. I'm happy to do the research and find that video, because if you have questions, it's likely other people have those same exact questions. So if it's something big enough that I could do a video on as opposed to just answering the question, I'm happy to do those questions or answer those questions for you. So I look forward to helping you. Number one, when you're hiring, a lot of people don't put a lot of thought into their job description and or hiring packet. So, but that is one of the first things that you're going to want to do, because that job description is going to be what's going to go up on all of the different places, whether it be Indeed, ZipRecruiter, Monster, whatever current, avenues are out there. You're going to want to sit down and really hammer out what it is that job needs for you to do, or you need that job to do, so that it's clear you're getting the correct or as close to the correct candidates as possible, right? If your job description is inaccurate or incomplete, then people that aren't qualified or don't have the right qualifications are going to apply. Now, you're going to get that anyway, right? But you're going to narrow that field down quite substantially by being as clear and accurate in your job description as humanly possible. Is it going to be perfect? No. Is there going to be a perfect candidate? Also no, right? You should figure about 80% of what you wrote is going to be important for the person to do. The other 20% is nice to have. Okay, 80-20 rule is very common. This also goes with your hiring packet. And what do I mean by that? Once you're to the point after you've done the interview and you're going to do, how do I say this? Once you're ready to hire, you want to make sure that that job description and that hiring packet are well created, are created very well. And then the reason for it is because not only is that the beginning of the relationship, but it also sets the groundwork for other future potential problems that you may or may not have that you want to kind of nip it in the bud. In law, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. I almost say that on almost every episode, if not every episode, but it's true. Like, the amount of money and time that you spend on doing this correctly is going to be a lot more valuable than you might give credit to, because these mistakes that I'm talking about avoiding can really go towards taking money away out of your pocket or out of, however your employer is working for that. So I want you to think about it in context of how can this help my bottom line be healthier by hiring this person? But by doing these steps, you're going to have a much better opportunity to help, or much better opportunity of making sure that they're helping and not hurting your business. So make sure your hiring packet is up to date. The next thing is, and this can hurt you because they could, if you don't do this, that can imply a lot and can hurt you a lot more. In California, it's an at-will state. So if you imply in any way, shape, or form that it's anything other than at will, you can run into some issues later. So, and everything that you do after the job description, every offer letter, every employment handbook, every option, or everything you talk about should at some point in some place mention that it is an at-will employment only, and that there's no probationary period, because everything is a probationary period. Like, that don't even imply that after 90 days that they have to have cause for, because that can imply that there's a contract. Okay. So you want to put this very succinctly, very specifically, that it is at will. And the only way that it can be not at will is if there is a signed contract by both parties, and no oral assurances or any type of oral communication can be construed as any type of contract, that type of thing. Now there's more language to it than that, but you get the idea, is that it needs to be very crystal clear in the job letter or the offer letter, as well as anything else that they're reading, that there's no probationary period. It's all at will, and you're not implying anything. Anyway, okay, so that's number 2. Number 3, and this one, it's funny because the first 2 are big deals, but they're not as big as this one. This one's huge. Like, people make this mistake, and it kind of blows my mind a little bit because they're missing out on an opportunity here that I think is very important to pay attention to. And that's an employee handbook. Do you have one? If you don't, you need to get one. You need to have one done because it outlines, number one, it's kind of like a frequently asked questions thing, but it also creates a contract so that if there's ever a question that it can, a pseudo contract, it's not an actual contract. They receive it, that it's, you would make them sign something saying they received it, but it's not specifically a contract for that reason. But the point is that you want to make sure that your employee handbook is up to date and current with everything new before, and this is the key, before you hire them. So this is something that gets put in their welcome packet and everything that goes with that, and that they have to sign off saying they've received it. And this is going to go over like sick leave policy and personal leave policy and any type of Family Medical Leave Act or anything that is of a legal nature that you're going to want to do. What is your firing policy, right? What is, do you give warnings? Do you have no warnings? What it is that you are going to do needs to be, and it's a legal document. It's a legal opportunity for you to define the relationship. I'm taken back to my younger days when the DTR defined the relationship. Sorry. Not anymore. Married, 4 kids. My relationship's pretty well defined. Anyway, so the point is that the employee handbook is an opportunity to define that relationship from a legal standpoint. And also, what, like for instance, communication policies. Can they communicate on their laptops and computers? Personal business, or is that completely forbidden? Is there privacy expectations, things of that nature, right? So your employee handbook is going to be your joie de vivre, if you will, right? That tells your employees what expectations are, what benefits are, what their expectations are. So many details that aren't really appropriate in an offer letter, but will give them a better idea of what it is that they're going to be doing with them. So that's number 3. You need an offer. You need an employee handbook. Need. It's not optional. If you give yourself option, you'll find a way not to use it. That's just truth. Number 4, and this one happens a lot. Okay. Weird. Okay. People don't perform adequate background checks. They either don't do them at all because they're afraid, they don't want to spend the money, or they do them incorrectly. And this can have huge, drastic consequences for your business because, unfortunately, as much as I love to trust people, the phrase trust but verify applies. You really need to do a background check and a reference check. So you're going to need to get them to sign off on it. And there's a correct way of doing this. I'm not going to go through those details right now, but you need to do one. Like absolutely, positively, without question, you're going to do a background check, a reference check on every single candidate that makes it that you make an offer to. You can't do it before that. You need to make sure you're doing it after that, because then there could be discrimination and bias in hiring. So you can rescind an offer if the background check doesn't come back correctly. Okay. Now, the other part of it is that you want to perform a background check that is relevant to their current position. Be honest, be frank. The truth is that they left a job, and most likely not just because of the money. It might be because they didn't like the job. It might have been a conflict with their boss. I would take all of those things into consideration, that it's not just about the money. And so if you say, you ask them about the previous employment, which is you have a right to do, make sure that they feel comfortable enough telling you as much of the full story as possible, right? That, I come back to my kids. My kids are young, and they're known to tell a fib or two, right? That's just kids. They do. I get it. It's annoying, but I get it. And so my point is, they get in more trouble for telling me the fib, or for the fib rather than the thing that they did wrong. So if I ask them if they did something and then they tell me the truth, they're in less trouble than if they tell me that fib. And I think that goes for employee relationships as well. I'm not implying that employees are children. That's not what I meant. But I'm saying that type of relationship where you need to start building that relationship where they trust you enough to accept the fact that not every relationship works out. And you need to be ready for that by making sure that the background check, you're performing it correctly so that they feel comfortable revealing to you the details about why they left positions, especially personality conflicts, other performance issues. Maybe they had something that was hurting their performance at their previous job that they didn't necessarily want to talk to you about, because it's a hard thing to talk about when you're going through a job interview, right? You need a job. You want the job. That's why you're at the job interview. But you need to be honest, right? And the employer needs to be honest. It needs to be a mutually beneficial relationship. There needs to be trust there. So by doing a background check, but also by talking to them about the background check ahead of time instead of just kind of glossing over it, which is what most employers do because they're afraid of it, then you're going to have a better relationship to start. Okay. So, that's number 4. Number 5, and this was probably one of the top ones, is that if you make a decision too fast or too slow, you need someone in that position. You want to find the right somebody. However, there's no perfect somebody. No matter how hard you try, no matter what you look for, as I was talking about earlier, your 80-20 rule. So one of my good friends, who's also an attorney who has a bigger firm and is hiring, all that type of thing, one of their big mantras is hire slow, fire fast. And I agree with that to a point. I think you need to be hired normal speed and then fired according to, things that go wrong. Because you don't want to go too slow. You don't want to put someone that's struggling in a position where they can't accept a position because they have to accept something else because they have to get by, right? So do what's right for your bottom line. Do what's right for your business. I'm not saying don't put someone in there that's wrong or incorrect or someone that isn't the right fit for you just to get a warm body in a seat. I'm not saying that. I'm saying be patient enough to get the right candidate, maybe not the perfect candidate, and be patient enough to recognize that, yeah, it might take a little bit of time, and this is another thing. There's this weird new culture. Any business owners that are out there that are listening to this annoy the heck out of me when they don't tell you didn't get the job. It's just silence. They just ghost you. It's like you follow up, you try to get more information from them, and they just don't even talk to you when you just have to figure out from yourself. And I feel like that's a lost opportunity, right? From a business perspective. Not everybody's going to be a good fit. I know employers are like that. It's completely understandable that I may not be the right fit for your job if I'm, trying to get a job. But for you to not communicate that to me and maybe give me the reasons why you're not a good fit, right? With being constructive as opposed to, for lack of a better way of saying it, you suck and I'm not going to hire you, right? That's not constructive. Give them the reasons. So if it's something that they can improve on, then let them improve it. Maybe, and I'm just hypothetically speaking here, maybe in a year or two after they've worked on those things, maybe they would be a good fit. Maybe that's a perfect job for them in a year or two. Maybe it's not the perfect job for them right now, but you don't know that. And if you ghost everyone, which I understand you can't get back to everyone, but if they've interviewed phone or in person, you should get back to them. That's just I think the moral right thing to do is to get back to everyone that you have interviewed, whether it be phone or whether it be in person. Make sure they understand why they didn't get the position so that they can work on it if necessary and want to come back at a future date, and keep that open, right? Give them that opportunity to make changes to become better in order to get that opportunity back if they still want to work there at a later time, because that might be your next hire or your hire after that. So it really depends. So these are just the 5 things that I've seen and that I've seen other businesses, 5 mistakes that they've made that really hurt their bottom line because they're not thinking through things long term. It's Short term, I need a job or I need somebody in that position, and they don't do the work. So take the time, do this right, make it so that everything is fine and you have a great employee relationship. If you've gotten value out of this video, don't forget to subscribe and like, and so you're notified of when we go live Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Have a good one.